quiet.
Yes. Good afternoon. It's Bernita Howard. I am the founder of SWAT, Survivors with a Testimony. I have my guest on tonight, Miss Janine Hall, who's going to come to us bringing awareness through telling her story. And so, just to give you guys just a little bit about who I am, again, I am the founder, I am an author, I am a poet, I am a mother, a wife, and most of all, I enjoy advocating so I can see a difference in someone else's life. You don't have to look like what you've been through, and that's just my saying. My life is my story. So we're gonna have Miss Janine just to give us a little bio of who she is and why she's here tonight.
Yes, hey everybody in Radio Land. My name is Janine. I am a poet, a playwright, a DJ, a web designer, a survivor of domestic violence. I have an organization called Purple Pieces where we go rescue men and women out of domestic violence literally every day. And man, I am here. Most of all, I'm here with y'all. Hey, sharing my story.
So that is awesome. That's one of the things that when I started SWAT, I wanted to make sure we brought awareness not just to the women and have an outlet, also for the men. So I'm glad to know that, somebody else is thinking about the men because it's hard for them, especially not having an outlet, somewhere to talk, someone to talk to, somewhere to go. And one of the things that SWAT just implemented was we had offenders who have reached out and let us know that, hey, I committed this crime. I've done it. I didn't really understood why I was charged this way. What is it that you guys can help? Can you educate us? So we do have a program called Embracing Change. That's going to be for those who have committed and have been charged with domestic violence. So I'm glad. Also, is you said your organization is
Pieces.
Purple Pieces. I'm glad to know that they're also advocating for men as well. It is so important because men do get abused as well. So, with that being said, we're going to give them just before we get right into your story, trying to give it a chance for some people to jump on. But Miss Janine, domestic violence has affected both of us. And I remember when someone told me that, oh, well, you went through domestic violence. I was like, no, I don't think so. I could have walked out, you know, um, just a little ashamed. But, if I didn't say this or if I didn't do that, because I truly didn't understand what domestic violence was. So, in your own terms, can you let our viewers know what domestic violence is?
Um, First of all, it's an ugly thing. It really is. It could be like you said, it's so many people that's walking around here now that's in it and don't even know they're in it. Everybody just when they hear the word domestic violence, the first thing they think of is physical, 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 physical.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not always physical. It could be financial. It
Mm-hmm.
could be sibling abuse. It could be emotional. It could is of course physical. It could be spiritual. It is
Yes.
so many different forms of domestic violence that is just unreal. And by doing the work that I have been doing over these past few years, I just been learning like, different kinds myself because I honestly like verbal. I forget about verbal. Oh, that's the
Mm-hmm.
that's the verbal is worse than physical sometimes because baby, like they say, like the power in life or death is in the power of your tongue. That tongue, you can say
And
some
it
stuff
cuts
that'll
deep.
slash somebody, that'll cut somebody deep, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it'll be hard to come back from. So yeah,
Right.
but I've been learning about different forms like sibling abuse. I really never knew honestly about sibling abuse until a couple of years ago. And then I learned the other day that a lot of guys, the new thing they're doing now is pulling the girl's weave and hair out so that way you're not leaving no bruises or nothing and then calling
Mm-hmm.
the police on the female like she the one did something. So I've been learning that for the past few days too. So even though I have my organization and even though I've been through domestic violence myself, y'all, I mean, I have been learning. like new stuff lately, and I've been incorporating it, like with my organization and letting my people know, like, man, I just learned this or I just learned that. So domestic violence is an ugly thing, and like it's different forms of it, but you just have to verify. You just have to be able to know the signs and be able to know what to look for to decide or to tell if you in it or not. And then the number one thing is controlling. If you with somebody right now that's controlling you, that's telling you what to do, where to go, who you was with, where your phone, give me your phone, this. That's a form of it too, controlling. And then you got some, if you with somebody that's trying to get you away from your friends or trying to get you away from your family,
Isolation.
trying to start something with you and your family so y'all can get into it or whatever. That's another form. It's a lot of forms, but controlling narcissist, somebody can be a narcissist against you, can blame you for everything, say you did this, you made me do that, you the reason for this and you the reason for that. And now you really thinking that everything that's happening to you is your fault, but technically it's not your fault, because just because they don't like them, they don't like you either. So that's what it is. So that's
It,
that's my, yeah, version of domestic violence. Get
yes,
away.
so exactly. Intimate partner abuse. They
Yeah.
will abuse you any way that they can. They will cut you sharp. Um, and it's not easy. As you stated, verbal abuse, I mean, there was times I would rather like just get the physical because eventually that's going to go away. But when you speak those things to me, that gives me something to think about, and it
Yeah.
hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts. It hurts really. It is deep. And so as we think about your story, and we're going to give you, we're going to go into it. Um but when I watched a little bit of your story, when I asked you to send it to me, so you were stabbed.
Yeah.
Is it,
I got stabbed 23 times.
ooh.
Got stabbed 23 times. Got pistol whipped every day. I'm talking about, this man was the type of person, whatever he say he gonna do, he gonna do it the same way he said it. Um, yeah, he did a lot to me, man. A lot.
So you
And
went through physical abuse.
I went through physical, I went through verbal, I went through emotional, I went through it all. The controlling and everything. I went through it all. It was bad. It kept getting worse. But see, the guy that I was with, we was together for 3 years. The first 2 years was like perfect, wonderful. No arguing, no fussing, no fight, no nothing. I'm talking, he was perfect. But then the third year, I just was like, what is wrong with this dude? Because every day something would happen, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. But I never could figure out what the heck was wrong. And the only peace I had was when I went to work. But of course, the phone calls at work. I had my bosses getting mad at me because he kept calling, wouldn't stop. They kept telling him to stop. He threatened one of my bosses with a baseball bat. Came up to my job, was ready to, because I was in Atlanta. I'm from Chicago, but I was in Atlanta, and he just was like, threatening my bosses with bats and all kind of stuff. Wouldn't leave. Just I lost jobs, like so many jobs because of him, because he would just act a plum fool. So it kept getting worse and worse. So one day I just was like, you know what? I was doing collections at a law firm. So I said, I'm gonna go home and if I'm gonna go to work and let my boss and them know that, I'm going through it, because they knew, they was just waiting on me to say
Say
something.
something. Mm-hmm.
So I went to work and told them, you guys are right. I'm in domestic violence. I'm trying to go get away. And I let them know, that I'm not coming back. When I leave today, I'm going home to Chicago. Because that day I got paid and I got my bonus check too, because I was a bill collector. And so I was like, if I get enough, I'm going to go to the car lot and buy me a car, because I ain't have a car. So I made enough, went to the car lot. I got me a purple Lumina and drove all the way purple. That's my favorite color, baby. Got me a purple Lumina. How ironic is that? and drove all the way to Chicago. I just left everything. I'm like, forget this. My life is more important. So I drove back home and I forgot that my mother used to send me FedEx packages. So what he did was he's from Atlanta, never been to Chicago a day in his life. So what he did was tore the address off one of the boxes, baby, got on the Greyhound bus and came to Chicago. So I'm walking down my mom's parking lot one day. It was just like something out of a movie, I swear. I'm walking down my mother's parking lot one day and I heard Nina. Like, nah, that can't be him because he ain't never been to Chicago. Nope, nope, no. So I'm thinking maybe I'm hearing things. So I kept walking. So this time I heard my name again, but this time it sounded closer. Man, I looked and all of a sudden I seen him running across the street. Lord, you should have seen me running. Oh my God, I was so terrified. And when I got to my mother's door, I'm trying to get my key to open the door. My keys fumbling, stuff falling. So he finally caught up to me and put a gun to my back and told me that if I don't go in my house, my mother's house, and tell her that I lied about him, that he was gonna kill me and her. And at the point, I really didn't care about me no more because it was like, man, dude, I'm already damn near dead because you don't damn near kill me anyway. So I'm like, I just went in the house and was trying to tell my mom what happened, like, without telling her. But she kind of picked up what I was, doing because she was kind of looking at the way I guess was looking at her or
Your
something.
body language. Hmm.
Uh-huh. So she was looking at it. So then he gonna push me into my all right, all right, all right. If any one of you bees move, I'm gonna shoot both of y'all. And it just was terrible. So he ended up staying like at my mother's house. We only ended up staying there for like a couple of days or so. And then one day my mother left and she went, I think she went to the laundromat or somewhere. I don't remember where she went, but she left. And during this time, this was like in 2000. This was like in 2001. So cell phones weren't really that good where you can record and all that garbage. So he made me go back to Atlanta. He forced me to go back to Atlanta with him, kept hitting me in the head with that pistol and talking about he was gonna shoot me and kill me if I didn't get in the car. So we drove back to Atlanta and man, my mother gone, so she don't even know that I left. Excuse me. So we got back to Atlanta, and all while we was driving to Atlanta, he kept like hitting me with the gun, kept punching me in my face. He literally leaned on the door, like leaned on the door and raised his foot up and kicked me in my side while I was driving. It
And
just
you
was,
was driving?
and I was driving. He
So,
just was like, it was bad.
so he
So
didn't even care for his own life because at that time you could have lost control and it could have possibly killed you and him.
he didn't care about anything. So we driving. So we finally get back to Atlanta. The man was beating me so bad that his mom came outside and she was helping me fight him. Um, when the police came, of course he left. We couldn't find him or whatever.
A
But
coward always leave and run
I
away from
always
the
leaving the
police.
scene. I always leaving.
Hmm.
So I stayed at his mom house for maybe like a couple of days or so. So I told her, I said, well, you know what? I'm finna go back to the house and grab, my important papers and stuff because I'm finna get on the road. I'm finna go back to Chicago. So she was like, you sure you're gonna be okay? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, he probably over to one in the house. That's the girl he was cheating on me with. So I'm like, he probably over to one in the house. I ain't worried about him. So I went back to the house, not being worried, kind of like let my guards down, wasn't worried
Hmm.
anything. So I went back to the house, and as soon as I opened my door, because the way my apartment was at the time, you have to go through the kitchen, past the bathroom to get to my bedroom. So when I walked in my apartment and I walked past the bed bathroom, I just felt like a force that was on my neck that was so strong. It felt like a maybe like a ton of bricks was on my neck, and I'm like, what the hell? So I'm trying to tighten my neck, I'm trying to look, I'm trying to fight him. And so we fell, both of us fell on our knees on the side of the bed. And the last thing I remember was me like the kids say, doing number one and number two on myself at the same time. And it was like, man, I sat, safe to say I passed away and came back to life by the grace of God. So I was pronounced dead, and came back to life. So that was the end of that relationship. So then I came back home, and my mom I was living with my mother back in Chicago again, and got a call from the Ohio State's Attorney's Office, and they were saying that he moved to Columbus, Ohio, and that the case against me, against him in Atlanta, was still open because I had a long paper trail on him. And one thing about Atlanta, if you with somebody for 6 months, they consider it as being common law marriage. So that's another
Mm.
thing. So they was like, he was dating a young lady in Columbus, Ohio, and they started fighting. So what happened was she got him arrested, but they knew that she was going to drop the charges. They just had a feeling. So they wanted me to come. And so the case against us that's still in Atlanta that's open. So I could come down there and testify against them so the charges can stick.
Stick.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what I did. I went to end up going to Columbus, Ohio, and ended up testifying against him. And baby, when he saw me, he thought he seen a ghost. Because last time he saw me, I was dead. I was dying.
Ooh,
You know what I mean? I was dying. I was
right.
dead. So yeah, so
So
he
let's go back. Let's go back to that. So
uh-huh
the last time that he had seen you, he left you for dead.
left me for dead. Left
Wow.
me for dead. Cause I came back to a little bit, and it was like really, 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 really blurry. My sight was like super duper blurry. But I just remember seeing him. I remember seeing him sit on the bed, on the edge of the bed. Then I remember him getting up, stepping over me, and walking out leaving out the house. And he literally left me there. So
So
I
he
literally
didn't
got.
care.
He didn't care. He didn't care. He didn't care. He did what he did. He had to do. He strangled me to death. Thank God, by the grace of God, I came back to life.
So let me ask you this: when you went back and did you ever go back and see if he had any prior charges prior to you?
So what happened was when I was during the court case in Columbus, Ohio. First of all, I found out. I remember I said the third year. I didn't know what was going on with him. He just was acting crazy. Come to find out, he was doing cocaine. So when he was getting high off cocaine, so that's why he was acting so crazy. And then like when he'll get mad, he'll get to taking off his shirt like he foaming at the mouth and stuff. So that's what that was about. So that's what I found out. Then I found out everything during the court case, and come to find out he did have prior domestic violence charges against him. And so yeah, so that I found all that out, during the court case. But yeah, I wish like I said, had I known, I wouldn't have never went there. You know what I mean? But the only thing that he did when we was together, like in the first year, was lie to me about his age. That was the only thing he did. He didn't do anything else because literally he whined and dined me. It was like I said, the relationship was good. But that third year, it was just He was doing too much. Too much. Stabbing me, pistol whooping me, and it's like, where's the police when you need them? You know what I mean? He shot at me in a crowded train station one day. I saw him, but he didn't see me. He shot in the air at the King Memorial train station in Atlanta. Everybody running around. He told me one day, pretending like he was sick. One sick, I'm coming home, bringing him some stuff, for a cold. This man had my 9 West boot up under the cover, hit me in the head with it. I'm bleeding all everywhere, slipping in my own blood. I'm talking about he just did the worst to me, and all this happened in a year.
Oh wow.
Yes,
So all right, you go back to Atlanta. He leaves you just about for dead. You end up going back to Chicago.
right.
All right. When he left you for dead, was the police called?
What honestly, the last thing I remember was being in the hospital. They woke me up, and when I came to woke up in the hospital, or they had to end up reviving me with the machine. What you call a machine that they put on you?
Mm-hmm.
They had to end up
Oh,
reviving me with the machine. Yeah, but when I came to, they was like, Miss Hall, we thought we lost you, and I'm like, thought you lost me? What happened? You know what I mean?
right.
What happened? And they was like asking, they literally told me my name because I really didn't even remember my name or anything like that because of what I had just went through. But yeah, So, like I say, I thank the grace of God, man, that I'm back and I'm alive today to, to be able to start my organization and talk to people and get people out. Because when I go to go to rescue different people, I'm being honest. I'm real blunt. I'm real honest, and I'm coming in the raw. I'm not finna sugarcoat nothing. I'm not finna give you time to change your mind, to think about it,
Exactly.
or nothing. Come on, you called me. Let's go. We gone. So yeah, so far we don't save like 53 people. I just saved somebody actually yesterday, so make 54. But yeah,
So we
God is
thank
good.
you for everything that you're doing.
No problem.
We thank you for having the strength to push forward. Um, I'm I'm not speechless, but this is kind of like whoa. And it's different. I watched your story, but to actually sit down and talk to you about your story is, and just to see like the strength that you have. And that's the whole purpose of this. So people can see that even though you went through, you still here to help somebody else. Um, and it is by the grace of God that you're here. And so we don't take it lightly. Um, so so after this relationship,
Mhm.
you go, you're in the hospital. So how did you end up going back to Chicago?
I stayed in the hospital until I got better, and when I did, I actually had my brother. My brother came from Vegas, and he came down to get me, and we drove back to Chicago again this time.
So
But
you had a brother. How many brothers do you have? How many
I have two.
siblings?
Two. I'm the only girl.
So did your brothers know what was going on um at all?
They knew after it got to like bad, like severe, you know what I mean? They knew then, but while I was in Atlanta, like I said, he just isolated me so much from my family, from everybody, had me getting into it with people. 'Cause I was in Atlanta, my family was in Chicago, or and everywhere else, but I was the only one in Atlanta by myself. So my brother's baby mom, my niece, was in Atlanta too, but they was like kind of far from where I stayed, but they was in Atlanta too. So she knew, what was going on, but she, helped as much as she could. But yeah, they found
It
out
was
like that.
only it was only so much she could help. I mean,
Yeah,
that's something you have to be ready to walk away from. Nobody can make you, because when you're in it, you're in it.
yeah.
Um, been there, and I know. Um, so what was your brother's reaction when they found out, when he had to come get you from the hospital and take you back home to
So my
Chicago?
so my brother is an ex-Marine. I'm just gonna start with saying that. My brother's an ex-Marine. My youngest brother, my youngest brother, he didn't get a chance to get to me, but my oldest brother did. So my other oldest brother, come to find out, he wanted to do something strange to him, but he couldn't find them. And I'm glad that he couldn't find them, because I didn't want my brother to be doing no life sentence over somebody that's not even worth the life he got itself. So you know what I mean. So yeah, God worked it out just fine that I was able to stay in the hospital, mind my little business, get well, so I can come back home and start the life that I got now. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
actually, and the funny thing, let me just go back. So I did my documentary, and for those of you that's listening, I got a documentary on YouTube, got over 113,000 views, called a Janine Hall story. Go watch it, please. It's 48 minutes full of power. But when I was
Mhm.
making my documentary, if you notice, I said in the documentary that in July, well, he went to jail and did 15 years straight. Okay. He got out in July of 2019. That was the same year that I did my documentary 2 years ago. So he's out now. And come to find out, see, while he was in jail, every move he made, they let me know. Because when he was in jail, he collect called me. So I hung up the phone from him, like, hold on, I put you in there. You think I want to talk to you? No, absolutely not. So I called the jail and I told them to let me speak to the warden. I guess they say they ain't never had no call like this before. So the guy was like, "Why?" One of the officers was like, "What do you want to speak to the warden for?" And I told him, "Well, a guy that I put in jail for domestic violence for killing me, literally is trying to contact me. I don't want to talk to him." So maybe they was like, "Well, okay, let me call you back, see what we can do." 15 minutes later, they called me back. I was able to speak to the warden and I told him what happened. I don't know what he said or what he did, but he never called me again. So when he got out of jail, he went on Facebook to find me. Okay, sent me a message on Facebook, but I didn't react to it because once you start reacting to messages, they can see everything you do. So I didn't even entertain the thought. But he went on Facebook and was like, "I saw your documentary." I'm like, "Saw my documentary? Saw your doc? I saw your story. Your story. I'm sorry about what I did. Is there anything that I can do? I wish I could make it better." I want to cuss him out so bad and go in on him. But I was like, "No, Nina, just calm, be cool, and just let go and let God take care of it." So because actually I wish he would. I'm not scared now like I used to be because the team that I got behind me now, the people I got behind me now, yeah, all right. Let me look like I'm upset about something. They're gonna be like, "Hold on, who did it? Where they at?"
Right.
So, yeah, so he tried to, but I found out that, stalking his Facebook page. Yes, I did, stalked it back. And found out that he's married. Some lady that he met as a pen pal in jail, they married now. And the only thing I could do is just pray for that lady. Just
Exactly.
pray for her and just
Because
pray to
it don't
God.
stop.
It
It
don't
don't
stop,
stop.
baby. He gonna start again. He gonna start again. So he did everything. My finger, I don't know if y'all can see my finger. It's
Yes.
crooked. It's shaped like my 96 luminous gear shaft that I had. Cause while we was driving, going back to Atlanta, I'm grabbing my car thing and grabbed it like this with this hand. And I was trying to hurry up and stop because I'm trying to wait a minute, you fight me while I'm driving. And I grabbed my, you know, gear shaft with this hand and ended up like breaking my finger crooked, my fingers crooked. But yeah, he did a lot of stuff to me. Stabbed me 23 times, all type of stuff. I just thank God that I'm here.
Did you have any children with him?
No,
Awesome. And
nothing.
um I just want to rekindle because I hear you talk about how he was calling you nonstop when you was at work. Did he work at all?
No, nope, not at all. Was the type of person that, gonna make plans with your paycheck, tell you what to do, uh, take your money, give you what he think you should have. He would take my check and literally give me what he think I should have. The man would, like the normal clothes I had, he would take my clothes and put them in the bathtub, burn them. Cause I don't want you wearing that. Don't you look at no other man. It was like I lived through complete hell through that whole year with him. It was crazy because I ain't never experienced domestic violence before, never. So it was like to go through that. It was like, wow. Because I always was the type of chick that I wish somebody would. I'm a blah blah blah.
Hmm.
But then you didn't do none of that. You couldn't do none of that.
So, um, you, oh Jesus. So he didn't work. You was the one working. He controlled your funds. And what made you like, because I know a lot of times as women we're nurturers, so we like to give chances after chances after chances. And so when you began talking to him and you realized that he didn't have a job, he didn't have anything to offer, what made you continue to date him?
But that's the thing. When I first met him, he did have a job.
Okay.
But then, once we started being together and stuff, the job that he had, he lost it because he wasn't going to work. You know what I mean? I had good jobs. So I guess that was all like a setup all in his plan to use my jobs and, to use my job as his job. You know what I mean? So
Right.
he stopped working and then he started trying to use my paychecks, telling me what to do with my paycheck.
Wow. So, um, you go through all of this. You get back to Chicago, and after you get back to Chicago, um, you get yourself together. Was that the last? Like, was that the only domestic violence situation you was ever in, or did you find yourself like most of us did, magnets to abusive relationships? You're on mute, Janine. All right, guys. For some reason, her phone went out. I mean, her she went out, but she'll join back in just a minute. But guys, as you can hear, and the reason we're doing these shows, it's a little touchy for me. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I wanted to bring you awareness with someone who has not only been through domestic violence, but someone who is able to tell their story and how they overcame. She's back in.
Okay, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
you're fine.
I'm
So,
sorry.
no, no
What
problem.
was your question again? I'm sorry.
Okay, so you go through, you go in a hospital, and now you get back to Chicago.
I
Um,
can't hear you.
what is going? Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you.
What about now? I don't know what happened.
Still can't hear you.
Oh, I went on mute. Hear me now? Oh gosh.
I still can't hear you.
Janine, can you hear me now?
Mm-mm.
Testing.
You want me to go out and come back in?
Try that.
Okay.
Guys, for whatever reason, my mic is trying to go out. Testing the speakers. Testing, testing. Um, thank you so much, Miss Melissa. If you guys can hear me, let me know. Okay, let's see what happens here. All right, Miss.
Now I hear you. Sorry,
Okay.
guys. I'm sorry.
All right. So you get back to Chicago.
Yes.
Okay. You get yourself together. Did you so what happens once you get back to Chicago? And like most of us, we always find ourselves picking up the same type of men. We become magnets. Because I know for me, I became a magnet to abusive relationships. So did you find yourself like that or no?
You know what? When I came back to Chicago, honestly, it took me like a while to meet somebody. I met a real nice guy in 2003. I'm talking about just great. Um, but the only thing that like kind of broke us apart from each other was the fact that he got locked up. So he was gone for a couple of years. And in the process of that, I ended up meeting another guy who was like, he was kind of mysterious. Uh, and come to find out, he was the same way. He was abusive too. But once he hit me one time, I was gone. I was out of there. I was gone. The man literally, like, I feel like he tricked me. If that even makes
Mhm.
sense, because he was making, saying he was this kind of way and that kind of way and this kind of way, and just end up being like this, just a total, man, just evil. Like, I've never met this kind of evil. He was more evil than the guy that I was with in Atlanta. He was just evil. And his thing was, he was fine as hell. So he'll get a woman in a minute because he was so fine. But he just was, he was just he was just crazy. So one particular day, the one time he hit me, the one particular day, I was uh I was at my house, and he came over to my house, and I was like, I'm getting ready to go because I got a appointment that I go to, so I'm getting ready to go. So I was like, I gotta go to work first, and I got an appointment to go to. So he all of a sudden just pushed me and knocked me down. I thought he had like literally kicked me in my face, but he didn't. He punched me, and I got a like my mark right here on my nose. All this right here shattered. I heard the bone shatter in my face, like shh. I heard it right here. And so then he like held me down, made me drink urine, uh beat me for like 6 or 7 hours. I literally had to have my friend, her name is Latavia Crooks, and I say shout out to Latavia. Every time I can, I shout her out, because if it wasn't for her, no telling how that would have turned out. So she literally, I was on the phone, I was able to break away and go to the bathroom, and I'm whispering, I hope you can hear me. I need you to come to this house right now, and I need you to pretend like you got to go to the car lot to pay on your car. And she was like, all right, I'm on my way. So she came, and I said, I'm gonna leave the door open. So I left the door open. She came in there, and when she came in there, he was still hitting on me and stuff. So she was able to, to get him off of me and stuff. So she was like, come on, let's go. So he was like, she ain't going nowhere. I'm going too. So I was like, yeah, I'm saying to myself, yeah, that's what I want you to do. I want you to come. Yeah, come on, dummy. I want you to come. So he got in the car with us. We went to, it was Barnes. It's a place in Chicago on Cicero called Barnes Auto Group. They here to today. And it was a lady there, because I had a Monte Carlo that I had brought from there. So I was going, that was my car lot too anyway. So when I came, I explained to them what happened. He was outside on his cell phone, talking on his cell phone, walking around a lot, and she pretending like she was buying a car. So I was like, well, let me go in here and ask them a question about my car note. That's what I was really was going to do. So I went in there and I talked to them and told them what happened. And they was like, oh, don't worry about it, no problem. So they called the police. He's still on his cell phone walking around like, like he uh the boss or something. So he walking around. And the police came. And when the police came, y'all should have seen the look on his face. He just looked like, oh God. And they like put your hands behind your back, and they got to talking to him. And I told the police officer and the ambulance drivers what happened. And I was like, he made me drink his urine. And then I was like, is it a way I could, y'all please take me to the hospital, because I don't want nothing to be wrong with my insides, because you know what I mean? So they took me to the hospital, and the officer was like, how many people was it that hit you? I said, one, him. They was like, my God. They was like, it looks bad. And so, come to find out, like, end up taking him to court. I took him to court. I pressed charges on him. I went all the way with it. We went to court, and he hired a public defender. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of good. So I did a jury trial. So the jury, I Lord, I just wish it would have been better, because some of them jurors was just looking like they didn't care. They wasn't even paying attention during the trial. They was doing other stuff. It was just bad. I was like, today, I just had a feeling like today ain't gonna be my day. And so I ended up losing the case against him, because his lawyer's defense was that I got jumped on by two girls that stayed across the street from me. And the way I looked, it looked like I got jumped by a whole bunch of people, but I didn't. I only got hit by him. And so I ended up losing that case. And then, mind you, the guy that I said earlier that I met in 2003 that I ended up going to jail, he was out. And I told him about what happened. And I was like, nah, he wanted to do something strange to him, just like my brother wanted to do something strange to the other guy. But I was like, no, it's cool. We just gonna leave it alone. So to this day, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I'm in like grocery stores and stuff like that, I have ran and bumped into him, literally. And the last time I bumped into him, maybe was like last month, a month before last. And I just say, keep it moving. He be looking at me like, like he don't, like Janine, is that you? One of those. And I keep it moving. I don't say nothing to him. Keep it moving. Cause again, I'm not scared no more like I used to be. So yeah, y'all just keep praying.
So, with all that you've been through, have you been through any counseling or therapy?
Never been through counseling, never been through therapy. My poetry is my therapy, to be honest with you. My poetry helped get me through. That's why I got my book now. My book today is called Memoirs of a Survivor. Tough times don't last, tough people do. Uh, I just look at it like this. What was made to build me actually, I mean, made to break me actually built me. So yeah, I'm just glad I don't look like what I've been through today.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you give us of your poem or
Give
one
you
of
what?
them?
Give you one of them? Sure.
Yeah.
So I give you the one. It's called poor. It's called Purple. Cause I was gonna do my other one, but I can't find it. But I'm gonna do my called Purple. It's actually my testimony piece. Do it for you. She wanted him, but he wasn't good enough. She wanted him, but he wasn't good enough. That boy was poison. Poison. See, newsflash, she was told as a child that she fast, but she didn't grow up fast. And flash forward, she's grown now. And her childish tendencies still wouldn't put him out the house. And newsflash, purple was her favorite color. She thought it was a Gemini thing. But flash forward, it ended up being the color used by millions to salute her story. See, he has his own clothing line, wife beaters. His fist abused her. His fist abused her. I don't think y'all heard me. I said his fist abused her because the H is silent. Nobody hears her. Nobody listens. How did she mysteriously fall on her eye? Hello, fist. Let me introduce you to I. Nice to meet you. See her blood? It doesn't even bleed blood anymore. It bleeds bruise. It bleeds bruise. It bleeds bruise. And just for that, his balls are blue. His balls are blue. His balls are blue. No sex. See, it was a song that we used to sing as a child. It was a one eye, one horn, flying purple people leader. Sure looked strange to me. One eye, because he would hit her in it. And it was a one eye, one horn, flying purple people leader. Sure looked strange to me. One horn, because it would come out of his skull the angrier he gets. So you can't have a Mr. Purple People Eater. You can't have her. And see, everybody knew it. Although everybody knew it, and although while she was singing this song cutely as a child, while not knowing a Mr. Purple People Eater, you were getting her prepared for her future. You were getting her prepared for her future because see, Purple said it's okay for her to come around now because she's not writing from his ego anymore, and she hasn't seen her family in so long that Mama done grade and Daddy was gonna divorce her, but he stayed. I said, Mama done grade and Daddy was gonna divorce her, but he stayed. See, I wonder what Daddy would have said if he would have seen her face. I wonder what Daddy would have said if he would have seen her face, because she wore makeup to paint the picture the way her looks used to be. And she wore dark glasses to hide the dark secrets in her life. No, I wore makeup to paint the picture the way my looks used to be. And I wore dark glasses to hide the dark secrets in my life. And I wanted so bad to get away from him, y'all. But he had already marked my body with his abstract artwork as if somebody was going to ask him for a business card or something. See, purple taught me about self-esteem. Purple taught me about self-love. See, purple was the color of the bruises that I wore on me each and every day. And it's hard for purple to cancel a lost and unwanted soul that was brainwashed by he. And I would stitch the word purple across my chest, and I wear it like a badge of honor. And I would bleed purple blood for each and every domestic violence victim who's not here today to tell his or her story. So the next time any of you all ask me what happened, I'll tell you that my finger is literally shaped like my 96 luminous gear shaft, because because he was on a warpath while hitting me while I was driving. And I'll tell you that the 43 and the 26 stitches that I had to have in my face was because since I didn't talk to him, he saw it as a sign of disrespect. And I'll tell you that the broken noses and the broken bones that I endured was because since I didn't give him my money, he saw it as a sign of disrespect. Because on August 18th, 2001, on August 18th, 2001, I got strangled to death, flatline, gone. And see, God gave my life back to me and gave him 15 years strong. So please support Domestic Violence Awareness Month, y'all, not just in October, but each and every day, because it supports my song. I'm so glad I made it. I'm so glad I made it. I made it through. I made it, y'all. Peace.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Like literally have me in tears.
Yes.
Oh,
And I
Jesus.
forgot to say that the pistol whippings that I endure each and every day actually leave permanent headaches. I suffer from migraines to this day because like everything he did to me, I never went to the hospital for. So everything had to heal on its own. I'm talking about the stab wounds, everything had to heal on its own. I only went to the hospital twice. That was for this in my face when I was with the other guy, and then that was for this one was from the one who strangled me. So those are the only two times I went to the hospital. He never went because he knew if I go to the hospital, the police gonna be called. So yeah.
Mm. So one of our viewers says, "Thank God you made it." Like it is such a blessing that you made.
True. Yes.
And we do. We appreciate you. We appreciate your strength. We appreciate what you're doing out in the community. We just appreciate you overall. So we're gonna begin to kind of wrap this up. Um, what is it that you would say to a young woman or a young male that's going through domestic violence right now, that don't see their situation as a domestic violence incident?
I would tell them to learn them signs, know them signs. When you read up on signs about domestic violence, they are true. Read them signs when you with somebody that's starting to isolate you away from your friends and your family. You know what I mean. You have to somehow that's a sign of control. That they're gonna start brainwashing you, making you think that they the only ones that you can get, or they the only ones that want you. Know the difference between love and lust, because love do not hurt. That actually is lust. You're actually lusting after that person. You don't love that person. So get away. And then another thing, keep your stuff to yourself. Don't let everybody that you with, don't get too comfortable in your relationship to the point to where, first of all, if you in domestic violence, if you was in a domestic violence relationship, don't tell the next person that you with that you was in one, because they can flip the script on you, and now all of a sudden you are here. I see why such used to beat your blah 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 blah. Know what I mean? So keep it to yourself. And another thing, don't tell all your whereabouts. Don't tell where your grandma stay, your mama stay, your sister stay, your cousin stay. Don't tell nobody nothing. Kind of keep that for yourself. Because if you have to get away and run to get somewhere, you really don't have nowhere to go, because you don't told everywhere that you could go. So just remember that you're not in domestic violence by yourself. Your family and your friends is going through it with you as well. You know what I mean? You just have to learn how to take your dang on power back. Once somebody has power over you, they have control over you. They can just guide you like a puppet with some strings. So take your power back, control your life. Be with somebody that's gonna love you. Guys, y'all go through domestic violence just like women do, and the same thing, the scared to get away, the I think she gonna change and everything. No, brothers, no, no, no. Because for years y'all was taught to just hide your feelings and don't, express your feelings. Let me tell you something. It's okay.
Yes.
And just because I'm in Chicago, do not mean that I cannot come and rescue you. I rescue people in all of these 50 states. So please, if you are going through domestic violence or you know somebody that is in domestic violence, contact me ASAP. I'm on social media, Facebook, Janine Nina Hall. Like I said, I got a story on YouTube. I'm on Instagram, Janine Hall 42. Man, reach out to me. And I don't know if you guys, if I can get my phone number out or not, but yeah, I just reach out to me, please.
So after the show, guys, I'll have Janine to put all her information in the comments. So if somebody come back later, they'll see all that information because it's important. And if you cannot reach Janine, you can definitely reach us at SWAT. And if she's close by, hey, we do this because one can't do it by themselves. It takes a team of us to do what we do. Um, and Janine, I again appreciate your strength, appreciate you coming on, and also appreciate what you do with Purple Pieces.
Thank
Um,
you.
I know it's not easy.
Uh-uh.
um,
Not at
I know
all.
it's not, but we thank you so much. And to those that are listening, if you're in a domestic violence situation, there's important things that you need to get together prior to leaving. You want to have all your children's birth certificates, social
Yeah.
security, their
Yep.
medications, the name, the dosage, and when it's to be given, your birth certificate, all the immunization records, a copy of your insurance, health insurance, car insurance, life insurance. That information is very important to have on hand. Your doctor's information. Um, Always keep an overnight bag packed. So if you have to leave, you have
Mm-hmm.
something in your car.
Correct.
I always tell women, think
Yep.
about this. We always have a spare tire. Under the spare tire is a lot of room.
Yep.
Pack your
Yep.
information. It's
Yep.
important. Um, don't feel ashamed. Call the police. If it gets to the point where you've been abused, do not feel like it's your fault. You cannot control someone else's actions. For me, I was ashamed. I worried about what people was going to say. But at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, those people was going home and they was okay. I was taking the whippings, I was taking the verbal abuse, I was taking the physical abuse. Listen, every police department has a domestic violence program.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, if they don't, ask for the special victims unit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they can get you what you need. It's time out for being ashamed. People are losing
Mm-hmm.
their lives every single day behind domestic violence. Domestic violence is the third leading cause of homelessness in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Domestic calls, domestic violence calls is one of the top calls that come into the police department. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you this to let you know, don't worry. Somebody else is going through what you're going through. But if
Mm-hmm.
you can walk away with your life, that's more important. That's
Mm-hmm.
why my saying is my life is my story because I'm here to tell it. Janine is here to tell it, to tell her story. Don't
Mm-hmm.
allow someone else to tell your story.
Mm-hmm.
Get out so you can tell your own story, so you can help somebody else along the way. So,
Oh, I
if
forgot to mention my book.
go ahead,
My book, y'all. I don't know if y'all can see it. I'm trying to get into the frame. I'm bad at this. If y'all can see it, Memoirs of a Survivor. Can you see it?
I can't. You this way.
Ooh,
Okay,
there you
there
go.
you go.
Memoirs of a Survivor, y'all. Tough times don't last, tough people do by Janine Hall. It's on Amazon. If y'all want me to personally autograph a copy, you can cash out me Nina Hall 70 or Zelle 708-674-6022, which is also my number. And I'll make sure I sign a copy and mail it to you guys. That's what I've been doing. I've just been mailing books and delivering them personally because I think everybody should get this book. It's gonna make you want to fight, make you want to cry, all that. So yeah. And thank
So
y'all
make
for
sure
listening to me. Huh?
when you
Huh?
put that information in the comments, also put your book there.
Okay.
And send me all the information. We're gonna highlight it on our page.
Okay.
So so again, guys, with the work that she's doing, support her by purchasing her book. If you have any additional questions, um, if you don't know if you're in an abusive relationship, um, down below is all the information about SWAT. We have all those this information that I just
Yeah.
gave you.
Thanks.
It's on our website. Are you in an abusive relationship? What is isolation? What is domestic violence? All of that is scrolling below. Also, the week of October the 29th, we will be doing a fundraiser. In order to do what we do, it do take money for every organization out here. So I
Yeah.
ask you to donate um, to the organization. All that information is running along the screen, so please donate. It takes not only that, it takes money to run the organization, it takes money to rescue. So again, um, please donate, please help out. Also, Purple Pieces, Janine is going to put that information in the comments. Guys, I don't care who you help, just help so we can help somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
again, it's not easy what we do, but we do it because we know that people need this information. So, what I'm going to
Exactly.
ask everybody who's watching, everybody who come back and watch, share this so they can hear her story. They can also follow her, store her documentary, The Janine Hall Story,
Yeah.
on YouTube as well, and it goes more in depth. But again, thank you so much, Janine. Thank you to our
No
viewers for
problem.
tuning in tonight. You all have a blessed night. Come back next week, next Tuesday. We have Miss Benjanita. She's gonna be on. She's gonna tell her story, and she's gonna tell how she overcame domestic violence as well. So come back next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. 7 p.m. Eastern time, so you
Yeah.
can hear her story. But to all our viewers, thank you guys so much
Yes.
for
Thank
your
you
support.
guys.
You all be
Yay. Good.